This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined here today by Darryl Williams. We're in Bromley. How are you, Darryl?
How you doing? Yeah, I'm all good. Obviously, just getting on with things really. You know what I mean? Like I have to, but yeah, no, I feel good. I'm happy. I'm happy.
It's remarkable, really. I mean, we've just had the drive over here from the train station, and you are happy, which I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be walking into today. Obviously, you're, I think, to put it mildly, controversial loss to Zach Parker on the World Boxing Super Series undercard, but you seem in relatively good spirits.
Yeah. Firstly, I think the main thing that's really helped is just the support of the fans. I don't know how I would have felt if they wasn't, giving the feedback that they was. When initially when I came out of the ring, I was in a bad way. I was in a very bad way, and there was a lot of emotions even the next day and the Monday. So as we was coming back on the motorway, because we drove up there, so as we was coming back from Scotland, there was just moments where I'd be in tears, and there'd be moments I was very happy, and it was a very weird situation where I was like in and out of depression like instantly, but at this moment in time I'm alright. I don't know if that will change, but at this moment in time I feel good. I feel alright.
That's something that you said to me when we've spoken on the phone. We've exchanged some messages between sort of that night and today. And you sort of said to me that you were in a bit of a haze, and you were kind of, as you just mentioned there, you were kind of in one state 1 minute, and another state another minute. When was the kind of the last time you felt in that state, as it were, since the fight?
I felt the last time I think I really felt, very strongly in a bad decision about the fight was, I'd probably say, probably the day before Belliew's fight. Actually, I went to one of my friend's house, and his girlfriend was there, and his daughter, and they mentioned it to me, which I sort of not forgotten about it, but just sort of just got on with things, And when they mentioned it, because I hadn't seen them, it was like, oh yeah, do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, this happened, do you know what I mean? So it was a bit of a hit to me then. But yeah, I think it was a Friday. It was a Friday before Belgium's fight, and I thought like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that happened. You know what I mean? That happened to me, and but as I said again, like now I'm not too bad on the situation, So it's all good.
Now, as I understand it, you've been back in the gym. When we spoke, you sort of alluded to the fact that you didn't really know how that was going to go. So why don't you tell me about the process of kind of getting back in the gym and what that was like for you?
Yeah, well, not once, because I actually went down to Davy Chewer's gym, where Shaq Day trains, and we was down there, and went with a few of my friends. They do a bit of boxing, just for training purposes and that, and we went in there, and it was good to just get the blood flowing in there, get things sweating again, and once there was points where I was on the bag and I was like, why am I here? Do you know what I mean? It was like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? But once we did all the pads and things like that, it actually felt good. Once I got out and I left, I actually felt good. And but that night I slept like a baby. You know what I mean? So it was really good, and just appreciate it for Shaq doing the pads with me and things like that. And just it's something that I definitely needed to do. I think I didn't feel like it at the time or before I went to the gym, but I think it was something I definitely needed to do, rather than sit and wait for months on end and not doing anything. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was a very good feeling once I got in there, definitely.
Now, you're somebody, again, we've been speaking about the fact that you're a family man. You have a couple of kids, you have a partner, a long-standing partner. Tell me about the kind of the strain that these last 10 days have put on you and your family, and kind of the support network that you've got that have helped you.
You know what? To be fair, there wasn't any real strain with the family. As I said, the fans have helped me so much. I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't even explain how much it has helped me. And going home, and I know that normally I would have been in a very bad way. You know what I mean? Even if he stopped me or he knocked me out or just he beat me fair and square, I would have been in a bad way anyway, because obviously it means a lot to me here, doing these things. But no, there hasn't really been much strain at home. I'm actually quite surprised in myself how I've dealt with the situation, where I know what kind of person I'm like, and I know that I get down on a lot of things, But yeah, it's been really good. It's been really good. It's literally I feel like the fans have made me feel like I've actually won something here, and yeah, the strain wise or pressure, I haven't felt anything like that at home. It's been great at home.
Let's just talk about the fans, because you've alluded to them at several points already in the interview. Boxing has like a very close community, very sort of family kind of feel to it. Certainly the sort of the inner circle. The outpouring has been pretty much non-stop for the last 10 days. That must really make you feel good.
Yeah, like I said before, I'm very shocked at how deeply the fans have shown how they feel about the situation. To be honest, I don't know what to say, apart from thank yous and I really appreciate, the support you've given me, because mentally, it has helped me to want to carry on that boxing. It has helped me to, want to go to the gym and things like that. So, it's been phenomenal how much they have strived me, basically, and yeah, what can I say? It's definitely been a key factor in me getting over the situation and how it's gone, So again, I just want to say thank you to everyone.
Do you think in a weird way it's kind of, I mean, obviously what happened to you wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination, but do you think in a weird way it's been a positive? I mean, had you have gone out there and kind of eked out a decision, or not to say you would have been forgotten about, but it's probably fair to say there wouldn't have been this kind of constant uproar and this constant your name is out there. So do you think in a weird way it's kind of worked as a positive for you?
Yeah, yeah. In a weird backwards way, I do believe that it has worked out. I wouldn't say better for me, but it has worked out in a good way at the same time, So yeah, because although I should have won the fight and etc. I think there would have been a lot more talks about him having the one hand and him not being able to perform at his best. Which is fine. It's true. Do you know what I mean? It's still even true now. That he didn't perform at his best, but that doesn't neglect the fact that he still lost the fight and it was given to him. So but all power to him. He carried on going, and he showed that he's got a true fighting spirit.
Tell me about the fight. What did it feel like when you were in there? Did you feel that you'd won the fight once the final bell had gone?
You see, with me, I've got a very self-critical mentality. So unless they're on the floor, I don't know if I've won. I never feel like that in my head. I just wait till the decision is made, and then we go from there. But I did think I was ahead. I didn't just have it, down and that. Yeah, I've won this and it's easy, it's sorted. But I did think I was up. I knew how much I was getting hit, and I knew how much shots I was delivering. So yeah, it was quite strange at the end. It was like shock and disbelief at the same time. But yeah, I can't even really recall how I felt, and I literally just like sank into the ropes when they said it, and I was like, what? you know what I mean? And then after that, it was like a form of anger and sadness as I got out of the ring. I just literally fell into one of my friend's arms and was crying basically. Literally as we got out of the ring. So yeah, it was a very strange feeling. Obviously, I've never lost professionally before as well, so it was a bit like, my O's gone. This was for British title. This you know, everything. How much people seeing this? Do people think I've you know, do I look that bad? You know what I mean? Things like that. You know. So yeah, it was a very strange scenario. Yeah.
Have you watched the fight back?
Yeah, I've watched the fight back. I watched the fight back a few times now, and you know, when I watch my fights, I can't really see what I'm doing. I can only see what's coming at me when I'm watching the fight. So obviously, I'm just seeing his shots, the shots that's caught me with him, you know. But still, nonetheless, I still believe that I won the fight. I still know I was definitely the aggressor, and you know, I landed the cleaner shots and the more volume of shots. You know, there was a lot of times where I was landing quite a few combinations to the body, which it was consistent punching, you know, and not that it was like devastating power shots, but it's hitting, it's point scoring nonetheless, you know, and yeah, you know, I haven't got the belt on my shoulder, so you know, obviously the judges must have seen something else.
Now, this isn't the first time this has happened on a World Boxing Super Series show. We had the Dmitry Chudinov Najib Mahmedi fight, which was on the Usyk Gassiev undercard in Moscow. Terrible decision. This, I think it's fair to say, is certainly in that bracket, if not worse. I mean, I scored the fight 118, 110 to you. Several colleagues of mine had roughly around the same. Was there ever any thought about boxing Zach Parker, who is a Sauerland fighter, on a World Boxing Super Series show beforehand, or did you try and kind of detach yourself from that?
To be honest, I didn't really think of, you know, the area or the place or the show. I don't really think of that stuff when I'm fighting. You know, I just think, you know, this is the fight I'm gonna have, and you know, wherever it is where it is. You know, and yeah, you know, I thought it wouldn't have really mattered, you know, but obviously it does. It does. You know, me being wiser and actually thinking about it properly, it does. Home advantages or, you know, show advantages. It does happen. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen. You know, I know it happened. But you know, at the particular moment when the fight was offered to me, you know, it was more that, wow, I'm fighting for a British title. Wow, you know, I've got this. You know, literally, I hadn't fought. You know, well, I had a fight in July, but it was literally 4 minutes. So for me, I haven't fought in a year, basically. You know, the last fight was my second one with Smile. So it was more excitement to just get in there and have the fight, you know, rather than thinking about where it was and what show it was on.
Where do we stand with regards to a rematch? As I understand it, your manager, Mickey Hellier, is lobbying for a rematch. I know certainly I would like to see a rematch. I think potentially Zach Parker would like a rematch to sort of set the record straight. Is that something that we can see?
Yeah, definitely. I do believe a rematch will be happening. I don't exactly know when. You know, I'm hearing that he's undergone surgery, and his injury is quite severe from what I've heard. But you know, I've been roughly told around about 6-7 months before he will be able to get back on the scene. But even still, I don't think so. Considering what's been said has happened, you know, I think it may be a bit longer than that, maybe. But you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I can stay active in between because you know, going into the fight with him this time, I feel like I haven't really been flowing. Do you know what I mean? So it was like I said before, you know, it's like this is my first fight within a year, you know. So jumping into a 12-rounder, and with a very good boxer, he's an incredible boxer, you know, and you know, doing that, it's yeah, it's just, you can be physically ready for a lot of things in life, but you know, you have to also be mentally ready in the ring. You know, you got to get prepared for the atmosphere and, you know, everything, even just the lights in there are different than when you're in the gym, and you know, you might have a cold gym, you might have a heated gym, it doesn't matter, you know. And you know, there's a lot more things at stake when you're actually in the fight and the adrenaline is going, you know, and you've got another guy that is feeling exactly the same, you know. And yeah, I just wanna be active now and stay flowing.
You're somebody who, in the not too distant past retired from the sport, boxing, politics, and such. Did that ever go through your head? Whether it be immediately after the fight, the day after the fight, even now, is that ever something that's sort of creeped into your mindset?
Oh, definitely. When I heard the announcement, I was like, I'm done. This is it. I can't. I'm not dealing with this no more. You know, and that was probably one of the initial things I felt straight away. But you know, at this moment in time, no, I don't feel like that. I do feel like I wanna get things flowing again, and I wanna do something. You know, it's right at this moment in time. What I think's happened to me is it's very hard for me to train with no purpose. You know, where there was a point for years I'd just be in the gym constantly. I was a proper gym rat. I just didn't leave. You know, whether I had a fight or not. But now it's very difficult now, considering my family and things like that I have now. You know, it's very difficult to be like, okay, I'm gonna just go off and start training now. Even though we haven't got anything going, you know, I won't see you guys for a bit. So, you know, it's very difficult to do that. But yeah, I just give me a purpose, give me something to do, and I'll do it. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with training. It's just having a reason to, you know, it's like someone going to work and not getting paid. You wouldn't want to do it. You don't do it. You know, so it's the same sort of thing.
Try and tell me, if you can, or put into words certainly for our viewers, sort of the strain that the kind of boxing politics can put on a family man such as yourself. What sort of goes through your head when, I mean, certainly when you retired from the sport and kind of in the immediate aftermath of the Zach Parker fight? I mean, just how much does it affect you as a fighter?
Well, you know, I thought once I got the verdict, and even beforehand, as you were saying with the retirement, that, you know, it was like, okay, this chapter of my life is over now. Like, I need to find something else to do. I need to find something that's gonna bring money in now, or something that's gonna feed my family, you know. And that's the main stresses of it all. You instantly feel like, what am I gonna do to provide now? You know, this is what you've done before you had your family, you know, and this is sort of like something only thing you sort of know, you know, at this moment in time. And you know, it's it's a very difficult, you know, it's mentally very difficult, because, you know, not to be putting down any relationships, but, you know, when there isn't money coming in, there's a lot of problems. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I hope I'm not pissing off anyone, you know what I mean, or pissing my missus off. But you know, it automatically does. You know, this world is unfortunately about money. You know, and you know, it's those sort of things that cause many rifts and many problems in life. You know, and yeah, you know, initially that was the thing I felt. It was, wow, like, what am I going to do money-wise? How am I going to provide, you know, my daughter, she needs school shoes, she needs to go pay for nursery, things like that, you know. But, yeah, hopefully now, you know, I think I've shown some people, at least anyway, that I've got some sort of ability in boxing, you know, and hopefully, you know, I can still fight and still push on, you know. So even if I didn't get the rematch, maybe go a different way. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I want the rematch, you know. But if it didn't happen, it didn't happen. But hopefully, I could still do something or still push on. You know?
Do you think you'd have had a better chance of getting a rematch if you'd have won the fight?
I don't think at the moment that has made much difference. I think maybe on my behalf of my promoters, you know, if I've won the fight, they probably would have wanted me to fight someone else rather than have a rematch with Parker again on whatever. But I don't know. I don't think it's really changed much that at the minute. No, I don't think it has. You know, I think the rematch would always have been out there. You know, because of the injury. You know, and maybe even it may have been a closer fight on the scorecards without the injury. So he may have wanting to have a rematch, if I did win or whatever. But I can't really call it. Those are things that the promoters and managers are really in control of. But as I have before when I fought Jermaine Smart for the English, rematch and things like that, it's not a problem. I wouldn't run away from it, whether it was a tough fight or an easy fight.
You strike me as quite different. This is the first time I've interviewed you, and I've seen you fight several times, both live and on TV. I was there on the night when you boxed Zach Parker. I was there at the weigh-in when I saw you pacing up and down to the side of the scales.
Yeah.
I saw you not put the head in, but something quite similar on the scales. But you strike me as somebody who's quite sensitive and somebody who's something of an introvert and a bit of a thinker. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely I am. What it is, see, I'm my background anyway. Growing up, I'm from South London, from a street background. So when it comes to fighting, I'm a different person. If you imagine how I am in the press conferences or weigh-ins and stuff like that, that was what I had to be like day to day when I was on the street. So I kind of, it's weird, I kind of bring that or output that when I'm fighting, and that's what gets shown. So I'm very misinterpreted, by people, and which is understandable. I can't knock anyone for thinking that, because it's like, well, what the hell's wrong with this guy? It's a sport. But as I've said before, it's a sport for other people that are sorry. It's a sport for other people that are obviously watching. But you're punching me. you're punching me, and you're not punching me just to say, okay, I've hurt him a little bit now, referee, please stop. This is, you can die in there. There's people that have died in the ring. There's people that have been, damaged badly in a fight. And they've been hospitalized, and they've had brain damage, everything. There's so much things that can happen to you in that ring, and for me, those are the things that, me acting those ways, or me finding that within myself again. That's the stuff that makes me not worry about that. It's not that I'm scared to fight, because I'm not scared to fight. But at the end of the day, you still got to think about it, that you can get hurt here. And those are the things that help me block anything out. I'm naturally at heart, I'm a fighting person, but there's a time in your life where you've got to grow up, and you've got to look at the bigger picture in life. I've got kids, I've got family, just like a lot of other people that I've fought, and there comes a point in your life where you have to be able to, I would say, you have to be able to be a bit of a chameleon. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to switch on and off with things, and that's all it is. It's just a trigger for me.
You mentioned people being hurt, and people have sadly lost their lives in boxing. With that being said, given the risks that fighters have to take getting into the ring, what do you think needs to be done, if there can be anything done, to avoid, let's call it what it was, robberies, like just happened to you against Zach Parker?
I think personally, I don't know how this will be taken, but I think in my circumstances with what happened, I just personally think one of the judges were given a backhander, to be honest. There's no way you can really stop things like that. That's the problem. If you have got someone paid for something or paid off, you could meet them at any time. As long as if this fight happened like today on the spot, then it's different. There's no time, but everything is planned. So you can plan anything you want, and I don't think there's much anyone can do. This is something that's going to be ongoing. I personally believe. I don't think you can stop it.
Tell me about the retirement. I appreciate we're backtracking now. I don't want to dwell on that, because it's clearly something that you've moved on from, and even this incident with Zach Parker, it seems to sort of added to your character, as it were. But what was behind the retirement? You were unbeaten. I think you were English champion at the time.
Yeah.
You seem to have a lot going for you, and then I saw on Twitter Darryl Williams retired, and I looked at that and I thought, that's strange.
Yeah.
What was what was behind that?
Well, what it was at that particular moment, well, at the time, not moment, what it was is that I was having a lot of like personal issues at home with my girlfriend and things like that, and then my grandmother died as well at the time, and was very close to my grandmother. From when I was little, was very close. You know, not to take anything away from my family or my parents and stuff, but my nan kind of brought me up. So you know, while my parents were going off to work, I was there until from the morning till after school and in the evenings and things like that. So yeah, I was very close to my grandmother, and what what it was as well is that I had just won the English. I defended it against Smile, and I was like, I'm here now. I'm here now. This is gonna make some moves for me, and literally it just went back to not fighting. And I was supposed to fight Lennox Clark. He was made mandatory to fight me, and a lot of times we was told, "Yep, the show's gonna be on." So I had prepared for it, and then it was not happening, and then prepared for it again, and it was not happening, and then I saw that he was fighting Jermaine Smile for IBO in the continent. I was like, what the fuck? Sorry, excuse my name. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Do you know what I mean? I said, nah. I said, I can't be dealing with this. So with everything all together going on, I was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Do you know what I mean? I don't want any phone calls. I don't want my friends asking me about, oh, when you fighting next, or when you doing this, or when you doing that. I don't want to know. And that's what it was. It was more. I think, obviously at the time, yes, I did want to retire, and I didn't want anything else to do with boxing. But I think it was more of just to get away from it at that time. I don't think I had really made the decision to completely like never ever box again. But on the impulse of what was going on, it was just like, no, I just don't want to know. I don't want to know right now. Get away from me, So that's mainly the reasons why that happened, and yeah, but we're back now. So yeah,
What was it that led you to come back? I mean, first of all, what did you do while you were off? I mean, being a fighter is something that, I mean, it sounds cliche, but it really is a lifestyle. It's not something that you just do. Certainly, professional fighters. So, what did you do without that kind of daily graft and that daily mentality?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I ended up eating shitloads of food. Shitloads of food. I was actually going to the gym but doing weightlifting, so I kind of still had a bit of structure, that sort of way training. But I was actually taking a course to do an electrician course I was doing, and I was doing that as well. And then I was obviously my manager was still enticing me, that Darryl, like, what's going on, like let's come back, and I hadn't given up my titles. I didn't have any phone calls and denied a fight. I think if someone did phone me at the time, I probably would have been like, yeah, let's go. Do you know what I mean? But there wasn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah, those sort of things. It was strange. It was strange to be doing weightlifting and just getting. I only got to like 15 stone within a couple of months. I was like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? I could feel like heavy and stiff. But yeah, well, no, it was. Yeah, it was. I got a call from my manager, Mickey Elliott, saying that Frank Warren wanted to have a meeting with me and call me back in. So basically, that's how I ended up coming back into it so soon anyway, because Frank Warren was like, look, we really want to keep working with you. We don't want you to stop, and you'll regret this later on in your life. So get like, pull your socks up and get back in, which was very kind of him to call me in for the meeting and do that, And then obviously I had we had a fight. Well, I was supposed to fight Clark after that. I was supposed to fight Clark in April on a Billy Joe Saunders undercard, but obviously Billy Joe Saunders got injured then, and then that got cancelled, and then the next day Clark got injured, or I've been told now he's got a medical condition where he's got like a lump on his lung, you know. So you know, it was a shame really, you know, that I didn't get out there and have a real proper fight, you know. But yeah, you know, this is what happens. It's life.
Obviously, we've talked about the fans, but how else have you kind of stayed grounded? I mean, right there, you said you've come back after sort of this frustrations of not getting fights, and then you've seen a fight pulled, and then you've seen an opponent get injured. How did you deal with that off the back of everything that you'd already been through, and subsequently, how are you dealing with this, given everything that has already happened to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's I think I'm a very hard-headed person when it comes to things like this, you know. You know, there's times where, obviously, when I'm by myself, you know, things show. You know, the sensitivity shows, or being depressed shows. But yeah, I think I'm just very hard-headed and stubborn to things, and I just a lot of the time I block things out, but it's also being bottled up as well, which is not good for you. But you know, I've always done that from I was a youth, so I think it's made me the kind of fighter that I am. You know, blocking those things, and those things come out in the fight or in the press conferences and things like that. You know, and yeah, I think that's just how I've dealt with it. I've just literally just act like it's not there, you know, and then yeah, there may be points where it comes out, but it's not often, you know.
Now, I appreciate this is probably going to be quite difficult to answer given the kind of circumstances and the situation that you're in, but what's next for you? Is it very much a case of kind of see what comes? I'm sure you've done enough waiting around in your career where you don't want to just sit and wait for the phone to ring. Yeah. What are you going to do, if anything, to sort of remain proactive and not let this keep you out, and certainly bring back those thoughts of, you know, should I be doing this?
Yeah. Well, definitely, you know, again, that's another hard one, because, you know, with boxing, what people need to understand with boxing, you're not really in control of what happens. You see, it's down to promoters and managers, you know. They're in control of your destiny, really, you know, and all I can do is really, I know that now in boxing, you know, it's the social media and that sort of PR stuff which keeps you in the eye, which keeps you noticed, you know. And I think those are the things I'm gonna have to focus on now, you know. Just keeping in the eye of the promoters and keeping in the eye of people, so they're asking me to fight, you know. It's actually being called on. Come on, get this guy a fight. We want to see him do something, you know. So hopefully, that's the way we can go with it, you know. It's just staying in. You're staying when people say staying in the mix now, it's not just staying in the mix fighting wise. It's staying in the mix to the public. It's staying in the mix, you know, on the internet, you know. And yeah, you know, things have changed with boxing a hell of a lot, you know. Where, you know, but back in the days when people like Chris Eubank was fighting and Nigel Benn, you know, it was just about you fighting and what people thought of you on the night, you know. But now you've also got to worry about, you know, outside of that, you have to stay active within social media now as well, rather than just actively fighting. So, you know, I think those are the things we got to work on, you know.
Well, I think that's a very shrewd and very sort of balanced way of looking at it. Yeah. Certainly from my point of view, I don't have anything against Zach Parker. Yeah. But anything that I can do to help, or Boxing Social can do to help, you've got my number now. Yeah. So you only have to give me a call. Just before we go, we've mentioned them countless times in this interview, but what message have you got for fans who have been so... the boxing community are a very, very strange bunch. They're very quick to knock you down, but there's also this kind of family element, and I really do feel and have seen boxing family really pull together in support of you. So what message do you have for those people?
You know, again, you know, for everyone, again, I'm just so appreciative of what you guys have said, all the people that's messaged me, you know, all the people asking for the rematch, all the people saying that I won the fight, you know, and things like that. I'm just really, really appreciative, and I can't thank you guys enough. You know, you've literally helped me want to carry on, you know, and yeah, you know, well, thank you very much, and God bless you all, really. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Okay, well, ferocious Darryl Williams, not so ferocious in real life, I must say. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Really happy to see that you've certainly handled it better than maybe I and a lot of other people would potentially expect you to. As I said, anything that I can do to give you a hand along the way, please don't be shy. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social, and I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you, mate. Thank you so much.